Hi, my name is Nawaal, and today we're going to be discussing intrusive thoughts and how to counteract them with cognitive diffusion. So, first, what are intrusive thoughts? Intrusive thoughts are involuntary thoughts that come into our mind that we can often ruminate over and will cause worry and negative emotions like sadness too. It can be really easy to get stuck in these intrusive thoughts and have these circular thought patterns that overall just impact us negatively. So, to combat them, we can always use techniques like cognitive diffusion. So, again, what is cognitive diffusion? Cognitive diffusion is a method to help create some space between yourself and those intrusive thoughts. There are a bunch of ways that you can use cognitive diffusion to help create that space. One method of cognitive diffusion is noticing that thought. So, for example, if you're having an intrusive thought that you're going to fail an exam that's coming up and you can't stop worrying about it, next time that thought comes up, instead of saying, I'm going to fail this test, just pointing out that you're having a thought about failing the test. So, again, taking it back, instead of saying, I'm going to fail this test, you're instead going to say, I'm having this thought that I'm going to fail this test. While you are still having that thought a little bit, having that split second of pointing it out makes it feel less overwhelming in the moment and makes it less daunting. Another method in cognitive diffusion is reframing the thought. So what you could do if you are having an intrusive thought that's causing a lot of negative feelings is reframing it to a positive. So if your initial intrusive thought is, oh, I don't look the best today, instead reframing it to, I look pretty good today. And taking that second to reframe it instead of focusing immediately on that negative. Another way that you could create some space between yourself and the thought is labeling the thought. So if you are going through the day and having a bunch of unhelpful thoughts and you just feel like they keep creeping back in, every time you're noticing one creep in, just giving it the label of unhelpful could help make it so that you don't interact with that thought as much. By giving that thought a label, you can give yourself the permission to file it away, to think about at another time, or not think about at all. Another helpful tool in cognitive diffusion is visualizing the thought. So for example, if you do have that negative thought that's floating by, instead of just kind of feeding into that thought and constantly ruminating on it, just thinking of that thought as a cloud, for example, or a moving car. By giving it that visualization of something that is moving through your mind and slowly passing through, you can visualize that you're having this thought, but you're giving it the space and permission to move on and keep going without feeding into it. So just visualizing that cloud slowly going through your mind, seeing the thought, but also giving yourself permission to let that thought go and make it leave your mind completely. Same thing with the car, imagining it as a moving car. You're seeing it go by, but you're not letting it park there in your mind to worry about. Just letting it go and letting it pass through altogether. And finally, another method that you could use in cognitive diffusion is thanking your mind. Often when we think of those intrusive thoughts, we think of them as unnecessary worries or keeping ourselves in unnecessary pain. But sometimes our brain is just trying to go in self-defense mode and prevent the worry by thinking of it unnecessarily throughout the day, just in case. Still, it's not fun to deal with, so giving yourself that permission to thank your brain for giving that thought just in case, but also giving yourself that permission to letting that thought go in the moment. So, for example, just saying, thank you so much for worrying for me, but I'm okay. And we can rest. Cognitive diffusion isn't always going to come easily, especially when we're used to feeding into those intrusive thoughts. The intrusive thoughts just become second nature, and we feel that that might be easier to feed into versus actually trying to create that space. However, practicing cognitive diffusion can help those intrusive thoughts lessen over time and just make your mind feel more at ease. If you want help battling intrusive thoughts in a therapeutic session, the Center for Growth has a ton of great clinicians, including myself, that can help battle this with you. Whenever you're ready, feel free to reach out to us by phone, or you can request an appointment online with us as well. Thanks so much for watching the video.